I am a multi-whisper, not I am a multi-millionaire. And I say that not with arrogance, but with absolute certainty. Not because the numbers in my bank account told me so, but because I decided it, I claimed it, I believed it before the world could see it. You see, everything you want in this life begins with a state of being. The world out there reflects the world in here. And in here I already walk with confidence, not I already breathe in abundance. I already make decisions like someone who knows that life bends for the bold. Being a multi-millionaire isn't about showing off wealth. It's about mastering your inner world so completely that money becomes a byproduct of your vision, your belief, your alignment. Most people wait. They wait for the proof. They wait for the job, the investor, the sale, the opportunity, the miracle. But that seemed to whisper, that's not how this game works. The moment you say I am, you're no longer waiting. You're declaring. You're stepping into the energy of someone who doesn't need evidence to believe. You become the evidence. Tell me, how would you move through your day if you knew your success was inevitable? How would you carry yourself if you had already arrived? That's the key. You don't fake it. You feel it, you live it, and the world rises to meet you at the level of your conviction. This isn't wishful thinking. This is creative power. You're not chasing the dream, you're embodying it. And when you walk like that, when your inner speech affirms your greatness, to whisper not your abundance, the outer world must conform. It has no choice. There was a whisper. There was a moment when I looked around and nothing in my reality matched the vision in my heart. But I didn't shrink. I didn't adjust my vision to fit the facts. I adjusted my faith. I stayed there. I persisted in the knowing that what I claim inwardly must show up outwardly. And so I lived as the millionaire before I ever saw the millions. I thought like one, spoke like one, gave like one. And eventually, the world had to agree, to whisper not. So if you're watching this, understand, it's not about money, it's about identity. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And the moment you say, I am a multi-millionaire, with your whole being, with conviction, not desperation, you've planted a seed so powerful that nothing can stop its bloom. Don't ask for the life you want. Declare it. Don't beg for success. Embody it. Don't chase the dream. Be that now. Say it with power. Say it with fire in your chest and purpose in your bones, or I am a multi-millionaire. And so it is, I am a multi-millionaire, not because the world confirmed it to me, but because I confirmed it to myself. Long before any evidence appeared, I chose to believe it. I stepped into that version of myself without hesitation, without needing permission, and without waiting for things to look perfect. That's the key. Everything in this world starts with a declaration, a seed, a word, not. And the most powerful words you can ever speak are, I am. Whatever follows those words you become. To whisper not because of magic, but because that's how consciousness works. You don't wait for the mirror to smile before you smile. You smile first, and then the mirror reflects it. Life operates the same way. So when I said, I am a multi-millionaire, I wasn't lying to myself. I was speaking from a higher truth. Truth beyond what my senses could grasp. I didn't check my bank account to verify who I was. I checked my inner knowing. I didn't beg life to change. I commanded my reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is not fantasy. This is creation. All great lives begin in the unseen. The dreamer doesn't wait for applause before he believes in the dream. He believes first, fully, stubbornly, and eventually, the applause comes. Why? Because reality is obedient. It doesn't lead. It follows. It follows your thoughts, your assumptions, and your state of being. And I chose to live from a state of wealth, not just financial wealth, but wealth of mind, of confidence, of vision. I wasn't reacting to life, I was directing it. I wasn't chasing success, I was embodying it. Say it now. Not with doubt, not with hesitation, but with authority. I am a multi-millionaire. And don't just say it, feel it, own it. Let that truth sink deep into your being. Because when you do, the world has no choice but to rise and reflect it back to you. You don't become it when the world agrees. You become it the moment you agree. I am a multi-millionaire, not because of what I own, but because of who I am. That statement isn't about numbers. It's not about the cars, the houses, or the lifestyle. It's about identity, because life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. You see, most people are trapped in the illusion that they need to have something first in order to become something. They think, when I have more money, I'll feel successful. When I get the right job, I'll feel worthy. When I see results, I'll believe. But this approach is backwards. The truth is, you must first become the version of yourself who already has what you desire. Identity is the engine of transformation. It's not enough to wish or to want, even to work hard. You must embody the reality you want to live in. You must wake up each morning and walk through the world as the person who already holds the vision fulfilled, not someday. Now, when I say I am a multi-millionaire, I'm not daydreaming, I'm defining myself. I'm claiming the energy, the mindset, the responsibility, the generosity, the wisdom that comes with that state. I'm not acting, I'm aligning. Because once you identify as something, your behavior, your decisions, your patterns begin to shift, not because you're forcing it, but because your identity won't allow anything less. You don't ask for permission to be great, seem to whisper. You don't wait for circumstances to change. You change who you are within, and your world cannot help but follow. That's the power of the I am. It's the birthplace of reality. It's the blueprint of your becoming. You don't need to chase the title. You are the title. You are the title. You don't need to seek validation. You are the validation. You don't wait to see millions to call yourself a multi-millionaire. You choose that truth internally, and life bends to your inner declaration. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. This is you stepping into the truth that the world reflects who you believe you are, not who you pretend to be, not who you hope to become, but who you already are in your deepest sense of self. Sail it. Become it. I am a multi-millionaire. I am a multi-millionaire, not because the world proved it to me, but because I no longer needed proof. I stopped waiting for the outer world to convince me of what I already knew within. This is the great secret. Faith doesn't follow evidence. Evidence follows faith. Most people live in a cycle of waiting for signs, waiting for results, waiting for some whisper, not waiting for someone to validate their worth or their dreams. They say, I'll believe it when I see it. But that very mindset keeps them locked in limitation, because seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing, not. The moment you believe without needing proof is the moment your world begins to shift. You don't wait for millions to feel abundant. You feel abundant, and the millions begin to align. You don't wait to be successful before you walk with confidence. You walk with confidence, and the world starts treating you like someone who was born to succeed. Why? Because reality reflects you. It reflects your inner certainty, your assumptions, your beliefs. When I said, I am a multi-millionaire, I said it with no hesitation, no fear, and no doubt. I didn't look at my circumstances. I looked at my consciousness. And my consciousness said, this is who I am. That was enough. I didn't ask life for evidence. I didn't search for signs. I became the sign. I became the proof. Faith isn't passive. It's not hoping. It's not wishing. Faith is the boldest form of creation. It's the decision to walk in the world as if your dream is already real. Because in your mind, it already is. And once something is real within, it must take shape without. That is the law. So when you say, I am a multi-millionaire, say it with full belief. Not because you see the millions yet, but because you no longer need to. You've made your choice. You've anchored into that identity. And from that inner knowing, everything begins to reorganize. Don't wait for the world to believe in you. Believe in yourself so completely that the world has no choice but to catch up. The moment you stop asking for proof, the moment you stop waiting for permission, that's when everything begins to move. You are not becoming it. You are it. Say it again, not to convince yourself, but because it's already true. I am a multi-millionaire. I am a multi-millionaire. Not someday, not if everything goes right, but right now. In this moment, I claim it, I feel it, I live it. Because that's how creation begins, not with action, not with effort, but with feelings. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the invisible cause behind every visible effect. Most people believe they need to work harder, wait longer, or hustle more before they can feel successful. They postpone the feeling until the condition appears. But that's not how manifestation works. You do not wait to feel. You feel to create. You do not reach the goal and then feel worthy. You feel worthy now, and the goal begins to chase you. When I say, I am a multi-millionaire, I don't just speak the words. I enter the state. I step into the inner atmosphere of wealth. I breathe like it. I walk like it. I think like it. I do not pretend. I embody, seem to whisper not. I let the feeling flood my being until it's more real to me than anything the outer world tries to suggest. This is not imagination as fantasy. It is imagination as truth, the higher truth, the only real power that creates your life. The world responds not to what you do alone, but to what you are. And you are the vibration you hold. When you align with the feeling of abundance, your reality must mirror it. Not maybe, not sometimes, always. So I no longer ask, when will it happen? That question no longer makes sense to me. Because to ask when is to admit you're still separate from it. And I am not separate. I am one with it. The millions, the success, the freedom, they are not outside me. They are in me, now expressed through feeling. This is the secreting. You assume the wish is already fulfilled. And you rest in that assumption, knowing that what you assume and persist in must harden into fact. You don't push. You don't strive. You live from the state, and life bends to your inner conviction. So ask yourself, what does it feel like to be a multi-millionaire? Not the number, not the things, but the feeling, the freedom, the clarity, the confidence, the calm. Let that feeling be your home. Let it be your starting point every day. And from that feeling, speak it with power, not to make it happen, but because it already has. I am a multi-millionaire. I am a multi-millionaire. And I became one the moment I changed the way I spoke to myself. Not with money in hand, not with success knocking at my door, but with a shift in my inner dialogue. Because the words you speak, especially the ones no one else hears, are the architects of your reality. Your inner speech is not harmless. It is not idle. It is the creative force that molds your future. Every time you affirm limitation, every time you say, I can't, it's hard, or that's not for me, you are writing a script the world will follow. And every time you say, I am a multi-millionaire, not with desperation, but with calm authority, you are giving the universe a new blueprint to build from. It starts within. Always, you cannot speak poverty within and expect to experience wealth without. You cannot affirm fear and expect life to deliver freedom. Your outer world is not separate. It is a mirror. And that mirror reflects back the tone and texture of your inner monologue. When I changed the way I spoke to myself, everything changed. I stopped describing my life as it was and began declaring it as I wanted it to be. I no longer repeated the story of lack of struggle, of waiting. I replaced it with power, with certainty, with truth. I began to say, I am wealthy. I am successful. I am worthy. I am a multi-millionaire. And at first, the world didn't change, but I did. And because I did, the world had to follow. This is not about empty affirmations. It's about alignment. It's about speaking from a place of conviction so deep that your subconscious has no choice but to believe. And once your subconscious believes, the world must rearrange itself to match. So I challenge you, listen to yourself. Listen to the silent assumptions you repeat every day. And if they do not reflect who you choose to be, change them. Not once, not twice, but over and over until they are so familiar, so natural, that they become your new identity. Speak life into your future. Speak success into your story. Speak wealth into your reality. Not because you're hoping, but because you're remembering who you truly are. Say it now. Say it clearly. Say it with faith, not force. I am a multi-millionaire. I am a multi-millionaire. And I did not get here by reacting to what the world showed me. I got here by remaining loyal to the vision I held within, even when nothing outside supported it. I made a decision. I would persist in my inner knowing, no matter what the outer world whispered, screamed, or threw in my path. Because I understood something most never do. Your current circumstances are not the authority of your destiny unless you let them be. Too often, people let the visible facts of life convince them to shrink. They say, I can't like to whisper. I can't think like a millionaire. I don't even have enough to pay rent. But don't you see? That is precisely when you must dare to think beyond appearances. That is when you must hold to the truth of who you really are and not bow to the temporary shadows of who you seem to be. The world is fluid. It responds to your dominant assumptions. It may look fixed, but it is not. It is constantly being shaped by the energy you hold, by the story you repeat, by the state you dwell in. And I chose, deliberately, not persistently, to dwell in the state of wealth, not because it was easy, not because it was always comfortable, but because I knew the true thing. Persistence in the assumption of my ideal life would make it real. I didn't argue with reality. I transcended it. I didn't fight against my bank balance. I ignored it in favor of the vision within. I didn't complain about what was missing. I praised what was coming because I had already seen it in the inner realm. And I trusted that what I saw internally would materialize externally. This is not delusion. This is creation at its highest level. To persist in your assumption is to respect your creative power. It is to say to the world, I don't need you to show me anything. I already know who I am. And when that becomes your truth, your unwavering state, the world bends. Opportunities arise, circumstances shift, resources appear. But only after you remain unmoved by what currently is. So no matter what you face, no matter how empty your wallet, how loud the doubts, how far the dream seems, remain in the assumption. Don't look around, the memes, but not. Look within. That's where the real power is. That's where creation begins. Say it again. Not because you need to be convinced, but because it is already done in the unseen. I am a multimillionaire. I am a multimillionaire. Not because I chase money, but because I live in alignment with abundance. And abundance isn't something you collect. It's something you embody. It's a state of being, a frequency, a consciousness. Long before it becomes a balance in your bank, it becomes a truth in your soul. People often reduce wealth to numbers, to possessions, to external measurements. But real wealth starts inside. You can give someone $1 million, and if they carry the mindset of lack, it will vanish. But give someone the consciousness of abundance, and they will create prosperity wherever they go. That's the difference. That's the power of being. When I say, I am a multi-millionaire, I'm not just talking about finances. I'm talking about freedom, clarity, purpose, and trust. I'm talking about waking up in the morning and knowing that life supports me, that I have more than enough, that I am more than enough. It's not about the things. I may enjoy them, but they don't define me. What defines me is the unwavering feeling that I lack nothing. You don't wait to be rich to feel abundant. You feel abundant now, and richness flows from that feeling. You don't need proof to believe in your worth. You're worth it to whisper, not. Your worth is inherent, and when you stand in it, the world reflects it. That is the principle. That is the law. What you are within becomes what you experience without. So I began to live from that place. I gave freely even when I had little. I thought generously. Even when circumstances felt tight, I spoke with power, even when no one else saw it yet, because I knew. That abundance begins where fear ends. That the more I aligned with wholeness, the more wholeness would show up in every form. I did not become a multi-millionaire to feel secure. I felt secure first, and the wealth had no choice but to find me. I did not need a dollar amount to feel rich. I felt rich because I am rich, and that feeling, that identity, became the magnet that pulled everything into form. So stop asking for the world to make you feel wealthy. Choose to feel wealthy now. Walk in the energy of abundance. Think like someone who already has it all. Speak like someone who knows the game is already won. Because when you truly embody abundance, you don't chase the money. The money follows you. I am a multi-millionaire. And so I stand here, not as someone waiting for life to change, but as someone who has already changed from within. I do not look to the world for validation. I look to myself, to that deep, unshakable truth that has always been there, waiting to be claimed. I am a multi-millionaire, not just in wealth, but in mindset, in spirit, in the way I see the world. I no longer ask if it will happen. I no longer wonder when. I know. I feel. I live it now, not Because I have understood the greatest secret, what I consistently assume to be true within myself becomes my outer reality. So I invite you, step into that version of that you've been dreaming of. Stop doubting, stop asking for signs. Become the sign, assume the feeling, own the state, walk in it boldly with grace, with strength, and with faith so solid that the world has no choice but to mirror it. Speak it, seem to whisper, feel it, and never let it go. I am a multi-millionaire. And it is done.